but then there is pipeline of gas, not getting exactly everywhere. So we can't tap into the advantage of gas, unfortunately. So these are issues that face us every day. These are issues we do have to find a way around. Now, for the most part, we try to mitigate these issues in-house somewhat. So in terms of the people, it's everything for people now, because I can't really do much about power. I can only provide power that I can get in terms of generation. That's the best I can do. In terms of infrastructure, unfortunately, we have to do road. We are just here. Every time we have to deliver to a customer, and a lot of the customers prefer that I deliver to them because the risk is still on us until we actually transfer ownership. We have the day. So that I can control. Because then then we are thinking how to recycle, which is something we do quite basically in the factory. Recycling our use, making sure waste is something that we manage, making sure that in terms of the machinery, they have a way to. My downtime on machine is not much because the machines they're user friendly. And our people are so good that it breaks down, they can convert to manual, even if I have to. And this is where engineering comes to play, right? Even if I have to order parts, they know what to do to make it work in the interim. This is why the people matter. So if I'm going to even put anybody on, on a pedestal, I will put the human capacity development very, very close to power. If that works, everything else tends to cascade down.
Thank you so much. For your last statement, I think basically as a chemical engineer, we say process optimization. As much as possible, you try to get the best value from what you have by optimizing some key factors in your processes. And yes, I agree with you. Power is, one of the major problems we have in Nigeria. Inability to, how will I put it, meet up, with the necessary infrastructure that we need, resilient infrastructure, and very most importantly, power is one of it. So to go back to Sheyi, and this time around, they'll be asking on technology in logistics. So in your opinion, how do you think Nigerian manufacturing firms can leverage on innovative engineering solutions in logistics, such as IoT or fleet tracking? AI for route optimization, there's a lot of talk of automation, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, or sustainable fuel technology. We know that sustainability basically has to do with environmental responsibility, social responsibility, environmental friendliness, and cost effectiveness. So how do you expect to build a more resilient and cost-effective supply chain in this space? Yes.
All right. So looking at the supply chain, leveraging on the digital platforms. I mean, this is already being done. I mean, thank God for the likes of the boats and all that. You have some companies, GIG Logistics, who use a lot of GPS and all. And I think that we can leverage on it. The private sector in terms of logistics can actually put in place some form of tracking. Now, you can also, in the process of carrying goods, have small warehousing infrastructure, automation, where you don't have to bring all the goods once into the urban areas. Set up clusters where you have distribution centers, where things are moved in pieces so that you don't have too much burden on you when you have to deliver in huge sizes. I think a few companies are beginning to look at that to be able to track how deliveries is being done, especially for the first and the last mile. The last mile, which is the most essential part, because you've already worked in your factories, you just need to deliver it to the customers, just like Mr. Dubia has said. So sometimes you just need to have a form of automation digital monitoring systems, have warehousing close to the urban areas, get close to the customers so that your goods are able to get there in good time. Another way, I mean, we can do that is also in form of modular processing. And I'll say it in terms of agriculture. If you have the tomato in tomato juice, and then you need to set up your manufacturing base close to your raw material such that you don't have, because you stand the risk of spoilage. The roads are not good. There's nothing you can really do about it, except there is a partnership between the government and the logistics company or the private. So you have to set up manufacturing plants close to your raw materials and then begin to transport systematically to your urban areas so that you can cover some risk. You know, that's what I'll say about that.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Yeah, I know it's very key to avoid spoilage, nearness of the source of raw materials to the industry. Talking about when you talk about, well, I call it. I'm trying to look for the word, but rather than just have certain large transport, you need to do it bit by bit, and that way, and then of course you'd have it be a digitalized process so that will be well done. Thank you. So, in furtherance to this talk on digital transformation, digitalization, we'll talk about data driven manufacturing. We know there's so much talk on data analytics, big data. Data is like the new oil, basically. And so, Onome, in your opinion, how do you think manufacturers can actually leverage on data analytics and digital twins to optimize production processes, to predict maintenance needs and reduce energy consumption, thereby increasing profitability and, most importantly, sustainability?
Okay, thank you. I'm glad that we're mentioning a lot of digitalization, technology adoption in different sectors of manufacturing. So what this tells me, in other words, is that in manufacturing, data is actually the new future of manufacturing, right? Data is the raw material of actually the modern manufacturing. So what this means is that whatever you're doing in manufacturing, you have to start harnessing the power of your data analytics in order to put process in check. Because once you have all this data in place, then it helps you with predictive maintenance. So what this means is that your production doesn't shut down automatically. So instead of reacting to production downtime or anything, you are proactive. So you start having signals that tells you that, okay, your machine needs to be checked. Production, some red signals there and there. So that's the power of data. You have to, it's the new raw material for manufacturing. You have to start gathering your data. You have to start harnessing it because it will help in sustaining your manufacturing equipment for a very, very long time. Then it also helps with process optimization. You mentioned something about digital twin. So in that area, you are able to simulate what is going to happen ahead of time. So you don't spend expensive money trying new technology or something. You've already simulated, you've already done a pilot test. And I think Siemens does something like that. They run a simulation of their gas turbine. And then once it works, then they put it in reality. So the same thing at Cypher Crescent, where I work, we harness the power of data, and we've seen it work in the energy sector very, very drastically. And most industries in the upstream system, they use most of our software solutions because what it does is that it integrates all the data that they have, and they're able to reduce mistake, not even reduce, they eliminate any mistake that is going to happen in reservoir management. So you are able to make holistic decision. You don't work in silos. You harness all your data. Data is very, very powerful. And you agree with me. So you have to start leveraging that in terms of energy efficiency as well. Once you have all your data analytics, you are able to, know when to turn down your energy and use it at off-peak period. So there's a whole lot data can do in terms of analytics, and also analysis of those data will help you a whole lot. Digital twin, optimizing your process, harnessing power of data to make holistic decision as well. And then at the end of it, your process is highly, highly optimized. Manufacturing is going on well, and then downtime is totally, almost reduced or eliminated. So that's what I'll say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Indeed, the importance of data can never be stated. Just like in reservoir engineering, where you do your reservoir simulation and all that to reduce downtime and then optimize your process. Thank you so much. So quickly we'll go to Mr. Oluwadorusimi. This time around, we're talking about the local capacity. How, in your opinion, do you think that indigenous industrial service companies like yours partner with manufacturers to develop local technical capacity for maintaining and repairing sophisticated machinery, thereby reducing downtime and the reliance on foreign experts? Because you know there's so much talk on local content. So how do you think this can be brought to reality? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think the idea about local capacity and local content, it's just so real that we need to look to our people, just like you said. Do we have the capacity to power what we need? And that forces us to analyze what actually do we need right now. We need the roads. Do we have the people to build the roads? A larger chunk of our contracts are given to foreigners, and that is an embarrassment for our engineering. When a Julius Ega takes over how many % of your construction in bigger styles, and that is a whole lot of reasons why the local content must work. But it cannot work without we identifying our critical needs and then building capacities around them, from road infrastructure to power, to agriculture, to every industry that we currently need. And I'll zero down again to agriculture. The biggest problems of Nigerians today is food insecurity. The biggest problem. That's number two, low disposable income. The second biggest problem. Now, these two parts can cross if the people build capacity across them. And I'll say to this, for food security, we just need to build capacity about modernized agriculture. I mean, we have one of the biggest institutions of agriculture right here in Oyo State, the IITA, and they are doing tons of production and empowerment to build a local capacity to solve that. We have benefited of that. And today, we currently have the biggest farm running in Lagos State because we learned from what IITA is doing. And for the first time in the history of Lagos, we're able to produce 1 million plus tubers of yams because we saw it working and then we built capacity for it. Now, for every other area, either roads or digital or IT, today we produce a lot of apps because locally we have come to study this. Nigerian music is one of the best in the world right now. You go to China, you go to UK, most of the cafes plays our music. And the reason is because we began to like our local flavor, but we build capacity for it, and then we can produce. So every area of production will span from identifying our needs and then building capacity to solving them first. Then two, exporting what we have built and built capacity on to the rest of the world. And this is how we can solve our major problems. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think one thing I can take from what you said is identifying the capacity deficits that we have and building on it to improve our local content. Thank you so much. Quickly, we'll go to Mrs. Adubi. I would like to ask you on the quality and standard, which is very key. Competing with imports often comes down to perceived quality. How have you engineered your processes and quality control systems to not just meet but exceed international standards? And how can this become a blueprint for other Nigerian manufacturers?
Okay, thank you for that. And I want to repeat again what I said when I had my speech. Nigerian cables have been famed to be one of the best. And the reason for that is we are very intentional. And it is the CAMAN member groups. So CAMAN is Cable Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. So this is where you will have the likes of the popular, the Mycoms, the Colemans, the Niger-Chins, the Carbon Metals, they are all part of this association. And what we do is we pair check ourselves. So by pair checking ourselves, like go into everybody's factory, you say you can produce this, show us the process. You say you produce this, how do you test the process? So we make sure that for every cable type, you can test it. And you are testing it according to the standard. So we follow the IEC, but then the Nigerian International Standard has backed up the IEC. So it's this NIS IEC, but it's still the IEC, right? So every cable that is produced is tested off the back of that standard. And we are sure to make sure that you have the facility and the people to know how to check. This is what we carry on into our production, and this is what we produce, and this is why it is fed outside there as being one of the best. The unfortunate situation is the imports, the cheap imports, have now decided to, they don't even come bringing in Chinese name. They come bringing in the Nigerian established name and rubber stamping their names on it and producing substandard. So what we push as a narrative for our members, and as much as possible, we're trying to get as many more cable factories that are established to come in to join, because that's where you get the backing of the association to make you stand out. And what we push for is the standards. Almost all of us is quality management approved. Some of us have the environmental management systems. Only maybe one or two of us, ourselves inclusive, have the three. So we have the occupational health and safety, we have the environmental management, and we have the quality management. This is what holds us there. This is who we are. And this is what we continue to hold on to. And with that, I can put my hand on my chest to say that any cable that is bought off of the factory of a cable manufacturer association member, you're good to go, because we do not take that lightly. We also have our regulators being SON. So something that SON will do every quarter is come in randomly, pick off of your shelf, pick off of your whatever is going on your floor and test. So they test in your lab to confirm that you have the ability to test in your lab, and then they also take it to their lab to counter test. And these are things we have put in place that has continued to make us more established with standards. If we're talking collaboration and even going to take advantage of like the ECOWAS schemes, the AFCFTA schemes, we have to be able to be at par with international companies. They have to be able to put MICOM cable like this and put Premier cable like this, and then there is no difference between the two. But we have to start from home. As they say, charity begins at home. If we have harnessed the mentality of quality, because there's also that, the culture of our people as a people, fortunately, is not quality-based, and we do have to recognize that. There has to be a lot of talking to make sure that we get it. Things have to be done in a certain way and consistently so to be able to maintain that standard. And that is what we do as MICOM and as CAMAN members.
Okay, thank you very much. I know for a fact that quality and standard should not be compromised. And I like what you said when you rounded up. We talked about the culture of our people. They really don't believe, in maintaining good standard. That is why when you buy something from abroad and something from Nigeria, oh, this is made in Nigeria. Even when the higher quality, people don't believe it because of the culture of people. I think we need to be more deliberate and intentional when we're manufacturing, just like you said, testing in-house, even before big companies like government, regulatory institutions like NAFDAC and so it comes in-house. So I think it can never be overemphasized, ensuring that we have quality and good standard. Thank you so much. We really have much time. So quickly, I'd like to take just one question across all the participants. I'll start with you, Mrs. Adubi. Basically, it's a summarizing question, and please, in one sentence, what is the single most important strategy, whether it be policy, technological adoption, partnership or mindset shift that you believe will truly engineer the future of sustainable manufacturing growth in Nigeria? That question is for all, but we're going to start from Mrs. Adby. Thank you.
So as much as I would love to be able to reel out all the easy reasons, I think that the most important thing as a people right now in Nigeria is a mindset shift. We really do need to, first of all, understand who we are, the immense opportunities that we have available to us, and the fact that if we only saw ourselves, sometimes I watch how some going somewhere has cataloged how Nigerians are best. And they tell you in everywhere you go, Nigerians are this, and they reel out everything. And it is so true. But then do we see that? Do we know that? If we knew that for ourselves and we acted on it, then maybe, just maybe, a lot of the things that are failing right now, we will know how to do them better. The MD of the Ajaokuta Steel, he saw a gate that had borderline moribund decades. It took 24 hours to get it corrected. So for me, I'm asking, is it that they did not see that they could have sorted out the gate, or they just wanted somebody to push them? Mindset shift. That's the most important thing right now. Everything else will follow, to be honest.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Oluwadurutimi, please.
Thank you. I think the beginning of our success as a country and as individuals is that we have to kill individualism. We had an experience last year. From the little things we have been able to do back home, I was invited to the UK House of Lords to present on sustainability. And after a lot of English, the only reason that gave us the yes and graduated into getting some funding from the international investors was the areas of collaborations we were able to highlight. So today we said we're in partnership with Nigeria Society of Engineers because we don't have the capacity to build an agriculture without engineering, without solar system powering our farms, without manufacturing and value addition. We're in partnership with RITA, we're in partnership with NIFOR. After all these highlighted partnerships, we were given funding, because one thing Nigerians need to know is that individualism not give us success. We need to be able to collaborate. Engineers in the house, we need to be able to bring our ideas together, create an ecosystem where we can co-create and produce tangible solutions that will power the nation. At the end of it all, there is nothing that stands for us. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. We will all get out and generations will continue. Thank you.
Amen to that. Thank you. Yes, indeed, Onome.
Thank you very much. So I will continue from where I stopped. Talking about collaboration. Yes, that also resonates with me, and that's what I plan to do. But taking it deeper, I will say we should leverage the triple helix model. So what I mean is integration, collaboration between academia, industry, and government, right? So we do not work in silos. If we're going to harness the power of data, if we're going to harness the power of technology, if we're talking about energy future, manufacturing, production, a sustainable future, we have to put all of this together intentionally from all sectors. I use the word co-create, and I borrow that word as well. We have to come together to co-create. So yes, so leveraging all of this put together, we can create a future ready today, a sustainable manufacturing future whereby we are not looking up to the developing countries, but we stand out as a developed country in the entire world and become a role model for the developing countries coming ahead. And I'll take a scenario. At Cypher Crescent, we're already working on preferring solutions to energy. And what is that? That's GTL, gas to liquid. So in this case, we don't have to work with pipelines to supply electricity. What we just do is create a modular plant at each of all these refineries at the production, like make use of stranded gas, make use of associated gas, then process it right on the site, all the manufacturing end to end, right from discovery of the product up to the end, we make it online, but we cannot do this without integration of academia. So that's why we have the Energy Technology Institute in University of Port Harcourt. Yeah. So integrate the government policy for enabling environment, the skills of academia, technology enablers like us, and also transfer the skill sets through training and all of that. So in all of this, we are encouraging everybody not to work in silos, integrate, collaborate, and prepare Nigeria for a ready, smart decision-making manufacturing company that will stand out in the world this current generation. Thank you.
Yes, please go ahead.
So I will say that we all have to take ownership. Let us own these problems. We know that there are problems in this country. Let's stop passing the buck. If I know, for example, that the road across my street is bad, and we decide to come collectively and say, how do we solve this problem? That is us taking ownership rather than waiting for any other person to come and do it. Yes, we have government. Yes, we have systems, but the working of the system actually starts with us. It might look bulky, it might look like an uphill task initially, but over time, you begin to see that we start achieving a little bit of mileage, little by little. So it's a sense of ownership. Let us own the problem. Let us also look for how we can solve the problems. Let's also look for areas where you can have pressure groups, and you can use that to speak to advocacy on a lot of other issues. So little by little, begin to solve those infrastructural gaps. Have the collaboration that she talked about, private-public partnership, and see how it works. And let us know where our core competence and our strengths are. For some areas, the government is not, they don't have the, well, I won't say core competence, but that's not the strength. You know that you can leverage on private sector participation to get some things done. And when it comes to government to give regulatory backing, let government give the regulatory backing and allow the private sector to run it effectively.
Well, thank you so much. Please, I'd like you to give a panelist a big round of applause. So basically here we've had discussion on engineering, the future of manufacturing, from having a shift in our mindset to collaboration, to being intentional about what we need to do as a nation to improve our manufacturing processes, and also moving from the era of reactive maintenance to predictive maintenance by having good data analytics, IoTs, artificial intelligence. I think we also need to harness the power of emerging technologies to make sure that this comes into fruition. So I'd like to encourage the audience for us to take this conversation beyond this room. Nigeria can be great again. I think the core of the economic growth of a country is manufacturing. Look at what China is doing. China is manufacturing every day. I think that should be the headquarters of manufacturing in the whole world. And I think we can get there. It just takes a deliberate effort on our part, to do the right thing, put the right thing in place, put the right policies in place as a government, like Onome mentioned, the collaboration, the triple helix model, collaboration between the academia, the industry and the government is very key when we're talking about industrial growth, when we're talking about the future, manufacturing, and so much talk about sustainability, but not only for us to, have goods that we manufacture, but make sure that the process itself is a sustainable process. So at this point, I'd like to thank our distinguished panelists for sharing their thoughts from different perspectives on this area of discourse. Thank you very much. And thank you to a great audience. It's been a very delightful session. God bless you. I don't know, Madam MC, I don't know whether we have time. I would have wanted maybe for us to take like 2 or 3 questions. Thank you. Okay. Please, where are the comparers, please? Okay, we don't have time for questions again. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much to our amazing panelists and our moderator for doing this session. Please don't leave. We're going to give you an award, and the president will come off stage to do that. Please, I'd like to call on my president, Engineer Dr. Adebisi Arosim, as she comes off stage to present the awards to our panelists and the moderator. Can we please applaud my president? My president. So this is for Mrs. Olubukola Adubi, MD Micron Cables and Wires Limited. I know our panelists will network thereafter. That's the beauty of doing this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that beautiful discussion and contribution. We appreciate it. On behalf of Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, we present this to you, Mrs. Olubukola Adubi, as our guest speaker and panelist today. All right, the next is Ms. Oluseyi Oloyede. Thank you, my sister, for honoring me. When I called and said, I want you on that panel, I want you to be one of the speakers, you obliged me immediately. Thank you for this honor. On behalf of Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, we present this to you, Ms. Oluseyi Oloyede, as one of our panelists today at International Conference. Ms. Onome Jonathan. Thank you for honoring us and be part of our panelists today. We present this to you from Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, Ms. Onome, as a panelist today. So sorry, sir. Please, it's not intentional. We just say it's the arrangement of the plaque. Get the plaque here, please. On behalf of Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, we present this to you, Ojema Moye Oluwadurosimi, as a panelist. Okay. Moderator, we appreciate you for moderating this panel. On behalf of Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, we present this to you, Engineer Yetunde Alade Ito, as moderator of panelist section.
Please, can we have our panelists with their awards? With the president in the middle, yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
I must say this about the asset rights team. They kept bulldozing and bulldozing the media team. I love your resilience, but you knew you were coming off stage. You were harassing us, but it's good. It's part of the business. You're confident about what you're here to do. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. This brings us, we would have the technical session, the technical secretary is here. We'd have it tomorrow, yes. All the technical sessions, we'll have them tomorrow, right? Thank you very much. So this brings us to the end. We'll draw the curtain. We have L Talk tomorrow by 9 a.m. Please, let's be here. We have the exercise in the morning at our various major hotels. Please participate, part of it. And tonight, if you have your entrance badge, join us at Eco for Show, where it is happening. I can see Engineer Marian Adesiba FNS is smiling. She knows what Eco for Show is all about. She was our sign show of Eco for Show at Calabar last year.
Headed by Professor Ayapiki, that have been doing a fantastic job.
To our Professor Ayadike and her team. I called them rapporteurs. They said the communicate team. The communicate team, we can see the good thing you're doing. Thank you very much for doing this and coordinating this efficiently with no noise. We appreciate you. The technical team, the media team, our press, we appreciate you. And on that note, we take the national anthem and the thoughts. We've taken it.
Taking it, they can go and rest. That's a ticket.
Okay. Thoughts and all right, thank you very much. I learned before the panel session, we have actually closed the session officially. Please ensure you network, and network. See you at Eco for Show in the evening. See you tomorrow morning at the exercise ground. Come with your access and do have a good afternoon. Thank you. DJ, give us music now.